Yeah, make a post.
Send you his name now.
Let's talk money. I gotta do a better job of promoting these. So I'm getting my team focused on right now. It's like I'd spend all day talking. I can't be the only one that's like trying to promote this. So they've been doing lead gen, trying to set appointments and stuff, which is great. But
What are we telling each other? You got to work on the business, not in the business.
right. That's what I'm getting to, man.
All right. I just sent you his contact info and I'll give him a heads up. I'm going to give your info to him. Is that's okay? Your tech.
Absolutely.
Okay. Um, but yeah, he's, I think you'd like speaking with him.
Well, at this point, I'll speak with just about anybody. I'm about to start to consolidate some of these meetings down more to like more of a webinar style structure. There's a reason why, obviously, why Pace does so many Zooms that way. Um, I'm getting to that point where I got to do more and more myself. So bringing in some other really cool guys. You've seen Najee Wyatt. I tagged him in a lot of stuff. He's really stepping into even more of a leadership role. Really excited for that as well. And bringing in a full underwriting team as well. My man Marcus Ridgway is bringing his team to the table as well and really helping us underwrite these deals and make sure things look good and a little bit, faster. Try to, especially those that aren't as good at it. I know you've really dialed in your process, but a lot of people are not so dialed in. So, what's up, Leighton? Good to see you, man. How'd you jump in here?
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, right. Been just a few minutes. We gotta do a better job of getting people in this. Like a lot of people even tag that they're gonna go, but I have so many things that I'm posting and tagging about whatever. We got to make sure we prioritize trying to drive traffic to these. So
Yeah,
just
it
keep
honestly
that in
took me
mind. We
four or
chat
five
later.
minutes to even get in. Like once I started trying to,
Say again.
I said it honestly took me like 5 minutes to get in once I started trying to. It was a little confusing.
Yeah, I had the
Oh,
same problem. I had the same problem. I had to go through, it's the first time I've gone through Facebook to get on a call, and I
yeah.
had to go to the invite or whatever scheduled events and then go to that and then link on the Zoom to that. It took me a minute to figure it out. So
Mm.
but that's probably me. It's probably not, it's probably just me, not, I mean,
Well, I'm trying to find the least friction way for people to get on here as possible, of course. So I tried to do just straight on Facebook last week,
yeah,
but it didn't let me do what I needed to do as far as screen share and other stuff. So I'm like, I got to get on Zoom. Um, still trying to oil it up, but we're getting there. Um, I'm pretty excited for the clarity that we're gaining, man. I told you a little bit, Matt, as well about some of the Gator relationships. I think that we're getting close to finalizing, just making it even easier to help people. A lot of people don't have the ability to jump in with $1,000 that they want to, but they're willing to do the hard stuff. So, of course, trying to help as many people as possible. And I think
it's,
that the sponsorship aspect will be pretty cool. So I'm hoping to
it's like,
announce.
it's like that deal the other night that I got on just to listen to it, the one with Jerry.
Yeah.
Now I keep saying that there's nobody else allowed in, but he keeps posting it over and over and over.
Yeah.
But he's like, hey, pay your $1,000. And then when you get your first deal and you get your $10,000 payout, I'll refund you your $1,000. So it's almost like, okay, well, why would you even? I guess I don't know, maybe what he's trying to do there. But anyway, I was telling you, I thought that if all of the web-based apps that he had to lead gen and qualify and all that kind of work, it works. It's obviously what it's doing for him is he's using other people to do lead generation for him, and he's paying a $10,000 finder fee.
Which, I
So
mean, it's not even like it's bad. I mean, it's honestly pretty normal. It's what most of the gurus run. And it's just a matter of does it deliver the way that it's supposed to? Because that's been a trend that we continue to see is that things are over promised and under delivered.
absolutely, no, I was just saying it's just their way, and obviously I'm pretty sure he's getting the same access to the funds as someone else is. He has to if he's has to.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Well,
do you
man,
want to post this link in the group real quick?
Yeah, it's in the meeting. Feel free to share. I just made a post about it as well, but definitely send the invite out. It should also, let me actually look real quick. It might also just be a good idea for me to host it not within the group so that it's easier for people to get in at least the first couple times. Probably what we need to do. Like it lets me invite people, but it doesn't let me like share a post. It'll let me invite up to 500 people.
Well, I just got an invite from you through my email. Oh, I see why, because never mind, that was stupid. All right.
We're just gonna send it to everybody there. Oh, good. Well, Matt, I started talking to you a bit when we first jumped on here, but there's several deals that keep getting posted, right? And in the group. And so I'm going to streamline this process so that they can submit them directly to us. That way, if it's something that we can work with, right? Whether it be on a fix and flip or whatever else, whether even just helping them dispo, obviously that's one of the big purposes. I know a lot of people can't handle multiple fix and flips at one time, especially not the volume that you handle. What do you think? What do you think the difference is? Why are you able to handle multiple versus some people struggle and feel overwhelmed?
Lots of C4 energy drinks. No, just I think a lot of it has to do with, just my experience too from back, the previous company back in the 90s to '08, right? It was taking something from nothing and growing it to what it was, and just
Yeah.
understanding that you have to be able to. Now, if Penny's on this call, which I don't think she is, she's going to get on. She'd laugh at me, delegating, right? Because I am not the best at that.
Yeah.
But towards the end, it was really learning, building that team around you and delegating, setting expectations and letting them go. Joey, Rob out there in Dallas, my realtor contractor unicorn, he just threw me another idea Saturday. I'm struggling with, I don't have a transaction coordinator, but I mean, setting up the power, the water, transferring over the solar panels on this one deal. Joey's like, listen, you've got money in there to do it, right? And I go, yeah, you see my $5,000, my holding costs. He goes, pay me that $5,000. Give me that $5,000. He goes, I'll handle all of it. You don't have to do it. I'll do it. So not only is he finding the houses, he's doing the rehab in them, but now he's going to be that person out there that's going to handle transferring the power into the new name, the water, anything to do with that. He'll handle all of that holding cost stuff. And then he's just going to take my $5,000 allocation I got anyway and just use it. And that way I don't have to deal with it.
Mm,
That's a pretty cool. It's kind of like he's
bigger.
one-stop shop out there in Dallas for me. And
Yeah.
that helps a lot. I just got off the phone with this guy, Brian. I sent you his contact. I said, you might want to call him. He's struggling. He's got contractor background, but I think it's more about just understanding the process better. And, I have a different model than what I'm getting ready to learn from you, right? Through what we're getting ready to do. I find a realtor. I found two up in Raleigh, North Carolina, I've already signed with. They are investor friendly. They speak the language. You saw the email I send them. They've already started sending me more deals that I can even think about going after. Right. So I'm just wondering, how do I take that and integrate it into what you've got and then still be able to go after them?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And it's all about, I told you this last night, when I sent that post, I just wanted to see what would happen. I mean, I'm already waiting, the amount of junk that I'm getting right now through Messenger from people, and I can just tell right away who's legit, who's not. If they can't, I mean, it's almost like some kind of junky AI generated from, Abu
If you
Dhabi.
can't speak proper English, if your grammar is terrible, it's a dead giveaway
Yeah.
that you're trying to scam or spam or do some shit. If you guys are out there listening to this or watching the recording down the road, double check your grammar. Come on, guys.
Yeah. And so I think that just it's coming down to that right now. My biggest challenge right now, which we're both working on, I'm working on for mine, you are in, is finding that money where it gets so tiresome having these. I've had calls all morning with lenders. They're like, well, what's your experience? Well, I've got these many HUDs. Well, how many closed HUDs do you have? I said, I just told you, we just started back in May. There's no way I have closed HUDs yet. I've got HUDs. I don't have any that I've resold. Like I told you, I went ahead and called the GC board in North Carolina. That's already in the works. To be able to say, you know, my GC license will be reactivated. Then we'll get it moved to Florida. And actually, we can move it to about any state that we want. There's 17 states that I can qualify for. Not that I want to get into the general contracting world, but let's say we find some flips and we need to help people that need a GC license to pull permits. Well, guess what? You know, all they have to do is pay me a very minor fee to be their general contractor, and they can utilize my license to pull permits. Then it makes it legal, by the way.
Yeah.
You don't have to, you can't do it for free because then it's not legal. But instead of making it so, you know, outrageously expensive, you just get paid a fee to show the legality of it, and then they can use the license to pull permits if they need to. That's one way. I'm going to send you a link to a portal. You talk about lead generation and how do we help some of these people you saw. You could probably build it into your web portal, or if somebody has a deal, they need help like Dispo or what have you. They can just fill out this simple form. They fill it and it gets shot to you kind of in a deal. I've tried it a couple of times and just to see, and whoever was on the other end, they're very responsive, and they just buy the deal outright. So if it fits their buy criteria, they'll buy it right away. You can put in your finder's fee or whatever you got, but I'll send you the link to the portal so you can look at it. But if that's something that I think you're trying, I think that's where you're going with it, right?
I mean, what I'm realizing more and more every day is that where I'm going with it is that I am everybody's plug, for the lack of a better term, right? So when I hear you talking there, what I hear is you've got realtors that are sending you more deals than you can handle. But if I bring 4 or 5 other guys around that are begging for fix and flips, then we can handle it, right? So that's the thing about being the center point of this network that we've been building, is that there's plenty of people that are trying to do the thing, and there's plenty of people that are struggling to find the leads or the deals, and they don't know how to set up the kind of system that you have, and especially what we're building together. I'm super excited about, because, you know, I've got a lot of the other things that I'm focused on, creative stuff, obviously the wholesale stuff, but like having you join the challenge and be really focused on fix and flips really helps me dial in that part of our business as we scale it. Because like I've already told you, I see a lot of growth in our relationship because you are able to generate those leads. That's what that is. That's a lead that you generated there. So now it can be up to me to find who else in North Carolina wants these fix and flip deals, which it will be 1 or 2 posts away, you know, a sub 2 post, a post in a few of the other groups. And like, I know that I can generate other people. So then this is where we partner together and then partner with others. That's really what I love about this industry, is that like, if I just stand still in the middle and look every direction and find out how I can help people connect the dots, it's a win-win all around. And like, that's really what I'm most excited about. So I'm really, to keep using the same word, excited to help you systemize what you're doing. Because one of the things, another thing I heard you say that I think that we can add value on in building out a process, excuse me, is what you mentioned the realtor is going to do for you. All of that transfer, all that it takes is like you showing me and Jesse one time what the realtor is doing for you as far as who they're calling, what the script looks like, and what they need to accomplish. We can systemize it down and get an agent to do it for $3 an hour and save on that $5,000.
Right.
That's my first thought. That's what I do best, is bring all the BPO, the outsourcing stuff, so that we can just shave it down, be very cost efficient, and do it at scale so that we can do more deals. So yeah. I think that, you know, at some point in time, you and I will do a full just one-on-one Zoom like this, where we just talk about the fix and flip process that you're running and how you're running it. Because truth be told, other people will go out and run this process, but they're still going to struggle with the next steps. And mostly for a lot of people, it's finding the money. And now you and I have been able to find more and more conversations to get that started. So as we expand, we can help other people as long as we're vetted and they know we're doing deals, and then we vet other people's deals. Obviously, it's easier for us to collaborate.
On the money side, I talked to one gentleman this morning, finally, the first one I've spoken to that spoke the language. We talk about credit scores. So already sick and tired of that. We talked this morning. I said, listen, we started a fix and flip in June. Penny and I had an aggregate of $150,000 in credit card use, right? Free available use. We decided to use some of those credit cards to do the first fix and flip, to pay for the rehab, to cash, you know, So we finally utilized our available credit. Well, guess what that comes with?
Credit score drop.
Exactly. That's BS. That's total BS in our credit scoring system in this country. So all of these lenders that try and say, oh, if you have a credit score of this to this, it's going to be a certain rate. Well, that they're only using your credit score against you. And that's what the gentleman this morning said. Listen, I don't need you to go get on Experian. I need you to do a Loom video. You can do a Loom video with your Credit Karma. You can show me everything. You can prove to me everything about your score. I don't have to pull your credit. I can do a Loom video. I'm like, now you're speaking my language. You don't want to pull it. And he goes, I don't utilize your credit score because he's a private lender to say what I'm going to give you. He said, I just want to verify that you don't have any judgments. You don't have any, outstanding, all these negative things. If your score simply took a hit because you decided to use your credit cards to pay for a flip, he goes, I can look through that. He says, your true hard money lenders, all these other ones, Kiavi and all these other ones, they are trying to use your credit score against you so they can jack the rate up on you to make more money. And that's all they're simply trying to do at the end of the day. So us finding true private lenders that want to be happy with, I'm working with one right now that I told him, I said, listen, give me a $2 million line of credit, right? I'm going to give you 20% APR on that 2 million. So I draw against it. I pay it back. What private lender wouldn't go, let's see the Warren Buffett method. I'm going to make 20% APR and Max just can continually revolve that $2 million line of credit. He's going to borrow against it to pay for a house. He's going to pay it, and every time he closes it, I'm going to be getting that 20% APR back on my money. I'm saving a ton of money. And then I become more competitive as a, what Joe and I were talking about. I become more competitive when I'm making offers. Then when the deals get tighter and tighter and tighter, I can be more competitive with my offer and still make my margins plus. And that's where we got to win the game with some of these lenders we're talking to, is get them to see around, someone's credit score and see it for what it really is. If they don't have judgments, if they don't have liens, if they don't have if they're not late on payments, if it's simply because they've utilized their credit to get moving, that shows that they're taking action and not being inactive. And then getting to let go, hey. And then not only that, but given that private, every time you do a flip, you take that private money lender and you bring him in with the right title companies that I'm working with, and you bring him in and you bring him under a first lien position anyway. So now I borrowed $350,000, 100% to do a flip. That's total project cost. Well, the house is an ARV of 450, or no, something like that. Whatever, these are round numbers. So it's an ARV of 450. I'm borrowing 300. That's 100% of my total project costs. I'm going to bring him into our first lien position of 300. But he's got equity in a house of 450. He's the only lien holder on it. And so he's got collateral against the money I'm borrowing against. He's already given me. He's in a safe position. To me, from a finance standpoint, it's a win-win.
Yeah. It's just a matter of getting these conversations started with people at the end of the day. That's the synergistic nature of what we're talking about here. So now what we can do is, as people come to me and they need these things, they can be doing outreaches, right? They can outreach to private money lenders. They can go find people that are doing these things and basically pull it back into us. There's only so many people you and I could talk with. I'm going to start to do one training a week. I don't think it's going to be on this 12 o'clock meeting. I think it'll be later in the evening, but we're going to do one weekly webinar just to try to raise private capital, just for people to come in and basically present deal opportunities and try to get them funded from private money lenders pretty quickly. I kind of have teased this a little bit, but we're working on raising some more serious capital, a couple $1 million to be able to start our own fund. And being a marketer, that's in the long run, I know that we can drive the movement. Being who I am online, being present as G Money and getting everybody engaged, I know that we can raise that capital. Once we have that, we're going to be able to provide this kind of opportunity to many, many people within our community, where we can teach them, just like you've done, how to reach out to realtors and generate these kind of opportunities different than what a lot of other people are doing. And a lot of people, when they do direct to agent stuff, it's strictly for creative things. They're looking for a certain, sub two or seller finance kind of thing, or completely off market. I don't really know too many people. I'm sure others are running it, but like a lot of the sub two students and the people that I talk to are not running these kind of plays. And I think when you teach it to somebody, when you explain it all the way out, even like it has for me, it's like, oh man, I can do that. Like I can get those kind of relationships set up. I can send those emails, and then I can run the deal review. Benefit even more also is we're bringing in a full underwriting team
Right.
to help all of this, specifically for the challenge or for people that are out there talking to sellers, whether you're in the challenge or not, talking to sellers, you're struggling on the deal structure, or if you're talking to an agent and you're trying to figure out how to talk to them, like we have an underwriting team that's going to help put together all of the deals so that we can know that what we do is a good deal and not just, because we can get somebody to sign, getting the signature. That's not always how it goes. But yeah, man, I'm really excited to see how much movement you're able to get here. I mean, with this strategy here, it makes me think a little bit more about, what game plan are we bringing to the challenge for you? So you're looking to add the direct to seller to what you're doing here, correct? So you're doing that there, and you're looking to add direct to seller outreach with the challenge.
Out of the challenge, what I'm looking to get out of is obviously lead generation, right? And then, I'm sure there's going to be a larger portion of the lead generation that needs to be wholesale/wholetailed, right? But
Right.
then I think there's still going to be a qualification there. You might find some that are those diamonds in the rough that are going to be great fix and flips. So
Mhm.
going with the mindset that this is more what the challenge is about lead generation and seeing the benefit. If you're trying to get started, you really need some quick cash without having the liquid cash reserves to get into the fix and flip. Use the program to get into the wholesaling side of it real quick. Generate 20, 30, 40, 50,000, $60,000 in 60, 90 days, right? And then all of a sudden you've got cash reserves to be able to show a lender. And then, but during that 30, 60, 90 days, you're going to find a fix and flip in there, right? That the numbers are going to be like, I mean, the more leads you generate, the more opportunity you're going to find that great first fix and flip and be able to jump in to it and figure it all out, right? But then you're going to have cash reserves from the wholesaling side. And I
Exactly.
think that's what I'm most excited about is about the lead generation side, but then having access to you and to Jesse and her group, right? Because obviously I haven't built a network on the dispo side, right? My dispo side is using a realtor to sell my flips. It's not been,
Yeah.
I mean, that wholesale we did, right? That's a big thing right now, and I think it's going to be bigger. Where somebody you go in and I think I spent $300 the other day to fix a hole in the roof, and I got to spend $100 on Tuesday to fix an electrical issue. That's the only two items, but we bought it from the young lady under contract at $400. We listed it as is value at $450. We got $450. We close on it the 29th, so we're going to do a double close. And I spent $400 because I told her I was buying it as is. It's done. It's done. So it's a done deal.
People
So
overlook how easy. I know it's not easy. Simple maybe is a better word. Like when you understand all of your strategies, that's great. You can pull different cards out and play it.
but once again, what did I use to help get me to that point? I used a realtor.
Realtor.
It was supposed to be a fix and flip. The ARV in Florida dropped too fast. The young lady had to have a certain dollar value. We gave her that amount, and then we went to work on it. It did cost her an extra 30 days than she wanted, and she had a little bit of a moment of a panic. But once again, we talked her through it. She deferred her payment in August, so she has no out-of-pocket money anymore. She relaxed. She's moved out of the house. She's going to close on the 29th. So I had to bring a partner in to do the $400,000 cash to close on the 29th, but it's a 30-minute deal.
Yeah.
So for 30 minutes, yes, I went in 50-50 with it, but we have the potential to make between $8 to $10,000 for 30 minutes and a little bit of my time. And if I had the 400,000 myself, I would have made, 16 to 20, right?
Right.
But why be greedy? I brought a partner in on it. They brought the 400, their part's the financial piece, and it's done.
There you go. That's why lead volume is important, because when you have opportunity, you can make those kind of plays. And I think that's one of the huge things for the challenge on our side to teach people is that you don't have to just do one thing. You don't have to just be a wholesaler. You don't have to just be a fix and flipper. You don't have to just do creative stuff. What matters is talking to people, getting movement started. Like one of my, he's dead now, but Zig Ziglar is a mentor that I've always looked up to as a sales guy. And he talks about pumping the old water pump. Back in the day, you had to, Leighton has no idea.
You got to prime it. You got to prime it.
You got to prime it. There you go. You got to put the work in. But once it starts flowing, it's just going to keep on flowing. And then what we got to do is just hold a filter there and catch what we want to catch and let everything else keep flowing through. So wholesale it if it doesn't fit what you're looking to do, or wholesale it maybe. Or another extra strategy that's been very, very popular lately, and a lot of my guys are crushing it with, is novations. Like getting that agreement in place, and then at a certain price, and then running the renovations and then selling it. So many guys are crushing it, and I think that we probably will run a ton of novations for those that join the challenge that need our help with closing and dispo, the kind of the full cycle through. I expect to see a lot of novations on those kind of deals. It's a little bit longer payout cycle. Oh, my phone rings and it takes my screen away. It's a little bit longer payout cycle, but it's also generally a bigger payout, so it's a little bit better play. Hey, you haven't run a novation yet.
Wholesale, no, wholesale is the quick stuff, right? Your fix and flips are, a little bit of a slower burn. And then your buy and holds, of course, that's your wealth generation. That's your slow burn right there. If you don't go into at least with a 5 to 7 year outlook as far as your return on investment, then stay away from the buy and holds right now.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'm excited to see what we put together for the challenge, man. Obviously, you already got a steady flow of fix and flip opportunities coming from the agent side of things. So if we're gonna go direct to seller and add on, we're gonna have to figure out how we juice up your team. You need more than just you on this thing.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Penny's actually getting up to speed now. She's I finally, we've got her. She wanted it. We're gonna do it Thursday. We got a guy coming into the entire office. They're gonna paint it with a whiteboard paint in the office.
Oh, cool.
The entire walls, all 4 walls will be where you can write on them, whiteboard. And then she wanted one in the kitchen where she when she's cooking, if something comes up, she can just walk over and write an idea down so she doesn't forget. So we're taking the old Andy Elliott method, right? Take your TVs down and make them all whiteboards. So that's what she wanted, and that's what she gets. So
I dig it. That's cool.
And that's, she's getting up to speed and taking over more of the I don't want to say she's becoming the transactional coordinator, but she's taking over more of the administrative side and getting involved. And she's really good at, going to these meetings and just meeting people. So the local stuff. But you're right. 100% right. That's why I'm excited to learn more about Jesse. And when we get into this thing, that's why I said the 12th, I'm trying, the 12th seems like, a year away. So
a long ways away, right? I'm super stoked for it myself, man. Ready to get things moving. But yeah, let's try to meet one-on-one at some point this week and talk a little bit about how we can break down what you do need around you as far as administrative tasks between you and Penny, what can be delegated so that you guys don't have to do those things. Anything administrative, anything clerical, like office stuff, pretty easy to delegate out often. It's, for me, it's the talking to people thing. I'm gonna keep using those words. It's like I can have the Egypt team handle pretty much anything. Obviously, we do cold calling, so they talk to people, but like the actual closing and emotional connection with a seller specifically, obviously it's different with an agent. When you're working with a seller specifically, you just got to have a different set of skills, right? It's much more empathy and much deeper connection than just a business transaction with an agent.
Well, like that young lady, when she freaked out about not being able to pay her mortgage in August when we had to push the closing a month, I go back to 2008 when Penny and I lost everything, right? When we lost our company. And so I could truly, empathize with her and go, you need to breathe for a minute. I need to understand what you're feeling here. We can figure, and I said, forget the bank. If you're not late on a payment, tell them what's going on. There's no bank that I know of that will not defer at least one payment to get the deal across the table.
Right.
She did, and that's what they did. So it comes to a little bit of hard time experience, right? That actual experience of losing a house, right? And then just being able to, that's what Penny is, I think, is going to really excel at, is she just has the ability to sit there and just connect with people and listen to them. So she can sit in a room with someone when we're, in a foreclosure situation or whatever, right? And truly empathize and figure out what's the win-win.
Yeah, I think that's super important. That's part of the reason why nowadays I don't work direct to seller, not because I don't have empathy, but my personality type is just a little bit more logical. It's very hard for me to like I can understand what someone's feeling, right? But like the actual get there and feel it with them is harder for me, right? So I tend to put other people that are better at that in those roles. That's part of the reason why we have structured this way. Because when I first got into the real estate game, it's pretty much a no-brainer just start wholesaling. As a marketer, it's like, why would I not, right? So we did a few deals, but it's just, wasn't really satisfying for me. It wasn't my specialty to work with sellers and like do that. And so I prefer to do my part, which I do best is lead gen, and let others do their part. And that's work with sellers. But that's part of the reason why the agent thing has been so intriguing to me, because like those are the conversations I can have. Look, we don't need to talk about feelings about the house. We talk about the numbers about the house. And like those are the conversations that are very easy for me to have. And it's also very easy for anybody else that's listening to generate those kind of conversations via email. And it's a lot easier to do cold email at scale with less headache on all fronts, less build out. I don't have to have a million phones laying around and stuff. So with the cold email, you can reach out to agents at scale, and there's plenty of agents that aren't getting enough deals on what they're doing right now and will be glad to bring you some opportunities to make money, especially younger agents, people that don't have their own book of business.
Well, Layton's been on here. Layton, what are you doing right now?
I'm fixing up some coffee for the email sequences Garrett sent me.
He
Yeah,
is
just listening.
learning.
Like my brain's grown like probably 1.5 times since I got on here.
I'm about to
Yeah, I
say,
think this guy's gonna win, to be honest, if I had to place bets.
I was just telling them, I brought my whole team together around marketing, of course, right? But I'm like, guys, we got to start to talk a little bit more about getting y'all to your first deals, right? Like we kind of got all of this movement about helping other people get to deals. I'm like, let's start to run the same plays and teach you guys the same things about real estate, so that that's where the big money lies. That's why we're doing things this way, because the marketing is great. But like I've obviously, even through my career, kind of, I don't want to say outgrown marketing, but I've outgrown the agency nature of what we do, where we're just somebody who you pay a retainer, and like I don't like that. I don't like to be the outside marketing guys. I like to be in it with people, right? So you got to really understand things. And so I'm glad that Leighton has been able to sit through and listen to some of these things, because it's so easy, and Leighton takes great action. That's what I love about Leighton, is like, I'm like, hey, do this, gets it done, and does more. So there's no doubt in my mind. And of course, Oscar, Danny, I appreciate you guys jumping on as well. I would love to hear a little bit from you all about where you're at with real estate. What you got going on? Danny, specifically, I've seen you recently join the VDK group.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can, yeah, man.
Okay, good. So I've been the last 2.5 years I left my job in banking, and I've been mainly flipping land,
Nice.
rural land. Just I've done several different states and areas. But I think that I basically got, long story short, I started another business in a totally different field a year ago,
Nice.
and it was so consuming, I didn't like it, so I backed out of it. Just wasn't my thing. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to. I didn't know I'm trying to figure out how to turn my camera on here. Hold on a second.
Okay.
It'll be from the side here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good. I can see you. I
Okay.
play the same game looking over here like this all the
yeah.
time.
My laptop's over here and my screens are in front of me.
You're good.
Anyway, so long story short, I still like the land plays if they're right. Sometimes they can be a little bit longer when you're talking
Yeah.
rural. A lot of times I don't go into the really hot markets because it's just like a swarm of hornets. Everyone's trying to,
Yeah.
you know how it is. It's not that you can't find deals. It just, I have found that with land and lots, like in Florida or whatnot, some of these hotter markets,
Yeah.
your results can be pretty devastating as far as you spend a bunch of time and money on outbound marketing, and then not much comes of it. But
Tell me what you've been doing for outbound marketing for land. I'm curious about that.
so at first I was doing a lot of letters, and I got results from letters, but that was like what, 2.5 years ago I started that. And I don't know, I sent out 20 or 30,000. And I tried neutral letters, I tried the what do you call them, where you just blind offers
Oh yeah.
at scale. And I wasn't crazy with my results at all. So I started doing text messaging. When I started doing that, I really, it was a lot better, a lot less. I mean, it's a lot more labor intensive as far as weeding through them all,
Yeah.
but I found some really good deals. Found one home run deal last year.
So you're doing mass texting. What platform are you currently using for that?
Well, see, basically for the last year, I was so consumed with my other business, I haven't done anything.
Got it.
So I'm coming back into the game and I still want to do land, but it makes more sense to me in today's market. The couple things I really want to look into. I do some fix and flips here locally where I live within, 30
Which is
minutes. So, I'm doing one right now. I'm trying to sell a house and I got a showing today, but what I want to do is it just makes more sense to really get some quicker, even if they're just base hits or doubles. I
Yeah.
really like the idea and I think it fits my personality a lot better of finding opportunities that novations are best for the customer. I think I could feel I have a more clear conscience. Not that I don't have one when I'm trying to wholesale something, right? But you know how it is. Sometimes you just like, I don't know. It's just like I've been in situations where I've flipped paper on land and you just there's an out-of-state owner and they don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I would like to find opportunities where people just they're in a situation maybe where I can just help them sell their place with a novation. Novations makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
It's the right
So
situation.
let me ask you, let me make sure I'm hanging with you right. So what you're saying with land, you feel like what? Like you're kind of getting over on people or what? Like you're getting too big of an assignment or something? Like what do you mean by that?
No, so like I should have clarified. I still want to do land deals, but really what I want to do is houses, novation. Right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I could make quicker payouts on that, right? These rural pieces of land, like for instance, I bought a big farm in Arkansas last year. For 400 and sold it for 650. But it took me 10 months. And I was pretty tied up.
I bet.
Those deals are out there and everything, but land's a different game
It is.
than houses. And I really haven't done any wholesaling or novations on houses. I've just done fix and flips, but I've done well.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Got it.
I'm in a situation where I unwound that business and honestly been fighting a lot of anxiety and depression the last month because I went from so into that business to all of a sudden it was over and I didn't see it coming, but I'm having to pull myself out and I gotta refocus and I've got to just hit it as hard as I can.
Yeah. I did. Well, first off, I appreciate you being real and authentic there. It's hard, I've grown several businesses. I'm about to turn 31 in a couple months. Through the course of my 20s, I have launched 4 different businesses. 2 of them just outright failed, right? Like we just didn't have the money to survive. We lasted 6 or 8 months. 2 of them we did well for a while, and then eventually got to a point where I often have the issue being G Money and Mr. Bring All the Energy. I tend to oversell myself. So like with marketing, I would my marketing agency Disrupt here. I would have a tendency to like bring on more clients than I could really handle because I was good at selling and I get people excited and we get, whatever. And so then I ended up kind of creating roadblocks for myself. And I actually launched an NFT project in 2022. Did pretty well, you would think, right? We did like $1 million in 4 days, had like 1,300 people or so in our private community. It was solid. But then after it was started with just a couple of weeks of dropping the ball by other team members, quickly ended up meaning I spent about 1.2 over the course of the next 4 months and ended with a loss, had to eat that. And it really took a long time for me to bounce back. Like it wasn't as much of maybe depending on how you look at it, I guess you could say it might have been some forms of depression. But for me, it was more like now the never ending journey of building back up again
Yeah.
began. That was hard for me to
Yeah, and
face.
I think that's kind of what I'm trying to explain. It's like, okay, Danny, this is what entrepreneurship is. Like,
But
get knocked down. You like I built that business where I did almost $2 million in gross sales in a year. And I was just like, but it was everything that I needed to know, I found out real quick that I didn't know. Right. I was really good at some things, but the pieces that I was missing, and that's one thing I've learned is like building a business is not, it's not as easy as people think, right? And if you're missing certain key parts of what makes that business successful, you don't have those people in place.
That's the key word right there. You just said the key word is people.
Yeah.
Where many people fall short is just like you just said, you were doing $2 million. I was selling $7 million myself. What about all the other people around, right? Like, do you have the team of people around? Do you have the systems and processes in place so that it can be run without you, or they can grow without you being the one that's to do everything? That has been, in full transparency, the part of the reason why my marketing agency never did bigger numbers is because I was the only one.
Yeah.
Had a handful of VAs that did stuff, but like I never had higher level pieces until we started building VDK. Then I've been able to bring in people that are far more advanced in real estate and more experienced than I am. One of my mentors told me, you need to have some gray beards on the team. And so I said, all right. So I went and found some gray beards, guys that have way more experience than me and have been able to teach and guide me. And that's now part of the reason why I'm so excited about what we're doing here at VDK, because we help build those teams. We play a part on the team, being, myself very much a systems guy, and help take conceptual ideas or visions. Often people play this visionary role and we put it into real life action and how we implement it. Obviously, a lot of that comes down to marketing. That's how it started for me. That's my background. But what I've discovered, especially even more so in my partnership that we finalized with Jesse, who is our call center leader out in Egypt, is that people need like people. Even early on, I was talking to Matt here. Like Matt, his roadblock is going to be that he can't do everything himself. Right now, he's the one that's doing all the things. And there eventually has to be a point where other people take some of those things, and we have to be able to, as leaders, confidently delegate that. And I think that's one of the biggest value points I help other people do in their business is how do we delegate so that we can make more money with less time needed. That's what's most important. So like, how can we, Danny, sell $2 million without you feeling so wrapped up into it? That's the reason why I like real estate, because you can get to those numbers faster without as much effort if you do it the right way and you involve the right people. So working with wholesalers or working with somebody else that's going to bring you leads, having a private money partner or lending network where you can pull that money in, and then just piecing it together. And that's really what this has been for me right now. So like, to kind of circle back to what you're talking about with land leads. So land is very easy leads to generate, especially via cold calling and cold texting. People want to talk about how they can make money off of land. You're right. It's definitely a different play. It's becoming more popular. More and more people are starting to get into it, which is why I think it's becoming more competitive. But again, when you go outside of some of those primary markets, there's still, like you said, even if you break it down, 10 months to make 250K is not bad. That's better than most people's annual income.
Oh
So
yeah.
that was
Hey.
the only deal you did.
Yeah. I mean, it's there's that was, some people would say, well, that was a big risk and whatnot, but it's just I looked at the numbers. It's like I was buying it for, there's just no way that I wasn't gonna make at least a couple 100 or 200,000. There's just no way. In fact, really, property was worth 750 all day long looking at comps, but it was such a big chunk of land that your buyer pool in that area is a lot smaller, and you just had to wait. And when I bought that land, I literally said, I'm going to sell this to a doctor or a lawyer from from probably like Memphis, because like 2 hours away. That's exactly what happened. From Memphis.
Love it.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Like literally, I was like, this is what's gonna happen. Like this is a property that some doctor's gonna want as a trophy, and it was. But
that
anyway, I want
manifestation.
to, that's really what I want to do, is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not that I want to, I am going to.
There it is.
I have already made up my mind, I'm gonna make it happen. I am going to build a system with all the right people and places in place, and you know, that I can do this at a very high level. I live in a very, very rural area in southern Missouri. I live in a city of like 1,000 people, 2,000 people. Okay. I'm 3 hours away from any major metro.
Oh, wow, man.
Okay, so that's why I got into flipping land, because I can do it virtually. There's so very little things I can do here to do in my other business was also, I can just do it from my desk, even though it was all over the country. So anyway, here's my biggest challenge right now, and this is always my challenge, even with land, and here I am again with trying to figure out with the houses and if you could speak to this, man, just throw it out there and give me some input, any of you guys. I'm trying to figure out with land and with houses, is it wise for me to pick and stay in market and build relationships? You know, because with land, I think I have this mindset where I gotta go, I'm trying to find, really it's low hanging fruit, right? I'm just trying to go into an area and find as many as good deals as I possibly can, and then I go on to the next one.
Okay.
And I don't know, like, I don't know, like, and I know with,
What's your holdback? What's the thing that's holding you back from doing this right now?
oh, nothing. I gotta pick the area or areas I want to start in, and that's it. I mean, that's it, right? But here it is right here. Now that you asked me, this is what I found out with land is I didn't know what the competition was gonna be like, or what my conversion rates were gonna be, or even if I was gonna get deals from that area. You could find out real quickly how like inundated an area was, how competitive it was after you sent out a bunch of texts or letters, just by the responses, like just by your lead, just by if you're gonna get it. So I guess for me, the hesitation is you want to move quickly, right? But you don't want to spend a ton of money in an area and lose 10,000 on a mailing like I did once.
Yeah.
Not one deal, one
Yeah.
time. Okay, that's hard to, you know what I had to do? Like I told my wife when that happened, I was like, well, I only have one choice. I gotta send more letters. So
Yeah, right.
you know, so I guess that's my biggest.
You don't want to waste the money. You want to make sure.
I've kind of gotten knocked down. I did not lose money on that business, but I came away with just a little bit, but I got knocked down pretty good. And now I'm just like, okay, you just gotta, I've got to just.
We got to get you dialed in, man. That's what you need. What it sounds like to me is you need some energy. I think you need some positive influence around you to help you keep your focus on what you're talking about here. This is what I'll tell you, man. You just need and I don't even want to use the word distract, but you need to occupy yourself with just talking to people, man. So like, for example, we're doing the challenge, the 30-day challenge. I'm sure you've seen me post all about it. It's 30,000 text messages and 300 direct mail flyers. Let somebody else worry about the marketing, bro. Let us get you on the phone with people and you do what you do best. I mean, at the end of the day, man, the land deals, I think, is a huge opportunity. Novations is great, like bigger paydays on most of the deals. Absolutely. But I know some guys personally that will, flip land deals, even if it's $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 in profit, but they'll do one every single day.
Really?
that adds up over time, and those are far and away the easiest leads to generate. And then I think there's a whole nother play on how you approach some of the innovation stuff and different things. But like if you're just like wanting or needing to talk to people, there's that, so I think, let me ask you one more question. You mentioned doing text messaging before when you were doing land. What kind of volume of messaging were you doing? Like how many messages were you sending?
I was sending 500 a day because that's all I could personally keep up with.
So
That
15.
was before. Okay, so I used REI Reply. I still have REI Reply. I never canceled it because I still have a lot of leads in there that I
Hmm.
honestly I need to circle back around with. But what I ran into with REI Reply was that all the stupids, I kept getting shut down. I kept
Yeah,
getting
right.
banned. I mean, no matter what I did, I kept buying new phone numbers. I kept like rotating the phone numbers and changing my campaigns every day or two, and it just became a full-time job trying to get my text messages to keep going out.
Yep. Absolutely, man. That's because the texting game has changed a lot recently with a lot of the new laws that have been passed. And so we actually are building out, we've built out, I'm about to launch a new system where we actually send straight from cell phones. So actual SIM cards helps avoid a lot of that headache. That's part of the way that we can do the volume that we're
So
talking about.
that's what I've when you had mentioned, you sent me the voice response that you can do that. I thought to myself, it has to be that that's how they're doing it, which is that's awesome. That's an idea that I've had. I'm like, man, I could probably get a VA and have them just, there's some online apps where it's just voice over internet or whatever. But
Well, let's
yeah,
chat sometime one-on-one. I think that I can help you. First off, if you need VAs and stuff, obviously we can do that too. I think if nothing else, we can help
yeah.
to streamline some of the things you got going on, bro. And it sounds to me like if you just get on the phone with people, you're gonna be closing deals. And then once you get that first little that success again, then you're just gonna take off from there.
So, um, I like I like what you're offering here. I really do. Like it makes sense to me. Um, is this, I mean, is it okay for me to say that?
Of course. I hope it makes sense to everybody. That's the goal, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, um,
Yeah, I'll reach out to you. We can chat a little bit more one-on-one if you have other questions or clarity that you
yeah,
need.
I've already decided. I mean, I know I haven't really responded to you, but that's just because I've been busy with other things. But
Hey, Leighton, what I tell you, Leighton, see, I've been teaching Leighton, like it's all about the follow-up. You got to just keep the relationship going. Just because somebody doesn't respond to you doesn't mean that that they don't
no, it
like you.
doesn't mean that they're not looking into it, not thinking about it and
Yeah.
whatever.
There you go.
Just we're all busy and we're all contemplating and, trying to figure things out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's chat one-on-one and see what we can put together for you there. That's exciting to hear for you. Matt's already joined the challenge. He was one, I think the first one that actually joined the challenge. And it probably beneficial for you guys to connect a little bit, especially if you're looking towards novations and you've done fix and flips. He's been crushing it on the fix and flip side, and I think there's just the novation is probably I think the next step for you too, Matt, to be able to throw that
Yeah,
in there.
Agreed.
I'm glad that you made the comment about and we'll talk. I want to talk to you more about that, about the land deals too.
Hmm.
The fact that some people that are doing that well. If
Yeah.
you know
And
the
the
ins
other
and
thing
outs of
about that
that.
is we can dispo everything for you. So like, don't tell everybody, like, don't worry about the things that you're not good at. We'll pull the other pieces to be good at it. So like, if you go, sell a property or you sign a land deal anywhere in Florida or really anywhere across the country, give or take, anywhere, mostly anywhere. We can help dispo it, with investor lift and the cartel mode being able to have that whole buyers list, but also the fact that several of my partners, I told you, the Graybeard guys, they've been doing this for a long, 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 long time. So they have a massive buyers list and network that they've built out. So, if you ever get a deal locked up that you can't dispo or you don't have a buyer, it's just like, okay, well, let's see how else we can piece that together. That's the way those guys tend to do more volume on the land side of things, because
Oh,
don't
it
don't
makes
slow down and try to find a buyer in advance. Just get
yeah.
it. It's
It
fine.
it it makes sense. Like here's. And I hope I'm not taking too much time, but literally, I've been thinking my whole structure through, and I know, like, these guys that are doing a lot of land, I know that they have a huge, they've done the back end work to where they have a huge buyers list, right? They're just, they lock up a deal and a lot of times they got it sold.
Yeah.
Cause they got builders or buyers or whatever.
It doesn't take long to build those relationships though, bro. Once you have a good deal you bring to somebody, you're going to have that somebody that you can go to with every good deal that you bring to. And if they don't want it, they'll probably know somebody else that does generally in a market. So I like what you said earlier about picking a certain area and crushing it and then moving on versus going so wide and thin. I think if you pick an area, like specifically, I think North Carolina is a great state for opportunity. What other ones? I've seen a lot of movement coming in Oklahoma. Lots of
think
things.
South Carolina too, I think.
South Carolina is facing some hurdles with wholesaling laws and stuff like that. So it's making it a bit more difficult, but it is a great market. Georgia's picked up a ton of momentum. Really anywhere in the Southeast is a great place to look at, right? So that's what I would say. And then, I will also connect you with Jesse. So I think a combination of cold calling and cold texting is what fits best to make this thing move forward, which is why we threw in the 10 hours a week from a call center agent, because, we want to make sure that we're getting the most squeezed out of it. But all right, guys, I hate to do such a hard stop. Next week, I won't have a hard stop. I'm going to space myself out so I have a little more time, but I have some one-on-ones that I have scheduled with other wholesalers. So I got to jump into this 1 o'clock. Brian or Danny, please. I don't know why I almost called you Brian. Please shoot me a message again so that we can definitely chat more. Oscar, I know you didn't get to share much, but if you want to chat, would love to chat with you one-on-one as well. I'll be doing these things every day moving forward at 12 o'clock. So jump in and out. You don't have to stay for the whole hour or whatever. Just come say, hey, and we'll be adding a whole lot more trainings in next week when we do the challenge, more than 20 a week. So ton of opportunities.
I saw a bunch of people posting on yours. They were looking for the link. So maybe something you work on today about figuring out how to get the link out more.
Oh yeah, Garrett, I'm gonna second that. I'm pretty tech savvy and I had a hard time getting in here.
Well, all three of y'all said that. So I done struck out today. Look, last week I tried to do it live on Facebook and Facebook didn't let me do what I needed to. And then this week I tried to use Zoom and Zoom don't want to let nobody in. So
it was for some reason it just brings you in a loop. Like no matter what you tried, it just brings, and I just kept trying and finally somehow.
It's
going to be the same link anyway. So I'm going to just pin the link so that it's easier for people to find. And so if you guys just have that, you should be able to get it easier. But thank you for letting me know that, guys, so that I can get that squared away. Leighton, can you help me make sure that we get that squared away a little bit later? Remind me when we talk. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it. I look forward to talking more with each of you. I'll be back tomorrow. So I'll see you guys.
Nice meeting you guys.
Nice meeting everybody.
We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
All right, man.